Ja, dis weer sulke tyd, né? Episode 4. Brul Bêk. Andre, jy dit geniet by ons. Jy is weer terug hier vanaand by ons. Almal is hierso. Is lekker. Hoe gaan dit julle? Eerstens oom Eugene. Hoe dit gegaan nou by die meesters?
Hey everyone, episode 4. Excited for it. Yeah, some interesting results over the past weekend, so definitely a lot to discuss. Yeah, looking forward to getting into it.
Goeienaand allemaal. Niels, Kobus, André, Moejo. Warm dag geweest vandaag hier zo in Pretoria. Maar ik neem hier zaterdag deel. So, ja, dat was nou net om die registratie te doen, die openingsceremonie achter de rug te krijgen enzovoorts. Ik zal later een paar foto's sturen van die openingsceremonie en hoe die baan lijkt en zo aan. Ja, nee, dat is een eer en een voorrecht om nog te kan deelnemen hoor. En op ons ouderdom, en dan geef ik amper mijn ouderdom weg, maar ja, ik zie hier zo'n bij die bijeenkomst atleten van in de 80's en ik kan niet mijn hoed afhalen voor die mensen. En die mensen van in de 80 is veelvuldige wereldkampioenen. Is al recordhouders, één wereldrecordhouder. Zo ja, ik weet niet durven en die inzet en die vermogen wat die mensen nog heeft. Laat niet maar naar mijn asem snakken. Maar ja, ons is recht.
Nou julle, kom ons val met die deur in die huis. Die Sharks, wat gaan aan daar?
Ja, Kobus, ek weet nie wat gaan aan by die Sharks nie hoor. Daai is vir my net so groot raaisel. Ek meen 4 games gespeel, 4 games verloor. So ons as Lions kan daarom sê ons het dan ten minste 1 gewen, so al het ons dalk nou nie sterker spanne gespeel soos hulle nie. Maar daar's duidelik iets groots fout by hulle. As kies tog my persoonlike mening is Plumtree is nie afrigter vir hulle wat daar moes begin het nie, hulle moes 'n ander ou gekies het. Ek het van die begin gesê ek ry hom nie regtig nie.
Kobus en André, Niels, Moejo, my 2000 werd oor die Sharks. Ek meen, die Sharks het regtig waar groot geld gespandeer. En hulle het ook nie juist hulle kan nie juist hond daar afmaak nie. Neil Powell, hy was goed geweest by die Steelers, maar het wys nie, daar is 'n movie so groot gap tussen 15 en 7. En ek is jammer, hy kom net die mas op nie nog van Plumtree. Plumtree was 'n goeie afrigter geweest toe die Sharks manne gehad soos Gary Teichmann en Swan, maar die name is nie meer daar nie. En nou sukkel hy so 'n bietjie en ja, ons sal maar sien waar hulle gaan eindig. Trots span soos daai en ja, hulle moet maar die probleme vir hulle self uitsorteer.
The Sharks result had me just shook. If I'm honest, I was quite shocked by that. You know, I'm pretty sure most people got that Super Brew pick incorrect because, honestly and truly, on paper, the Sharks had no business losing that game, and I will say this: credit to Zebra. They really did their best there, and this has been a long time coming for them. Last season as well, they had a lot of games where it was so close. It was so close, and you know they just couldn't pull through. Here they managed, and I think the Sharks really need to take a look at their discipline because again, you know, they have the talent. They've got how many coaches, you know, and it's, you know, top coaches, you know, yeah, at this point they've bought everything but a win, and yeah, that's got to be frustrating for everyone involved. But I think a worry I have is that, and I think this has been touched on as well. Now they're going to have Springbok players come in. And much as short term that's a good thing, the big problem there is they're going to run these guys into the ground because they're going to feel like they have no other option. Like now every game is a must win for them. They've literally gotten 1 point from 4 games. The turnaround needs to happen and needs to happen now for them.
Fully agree, Moya. Those guys, they lost against Zebra. They haven't won, I think, in 18 months. But your point on the coaches, don't you think there's too many cooks in the kitchen by the Sharks? That there's too many people who say? Do you think that could be a problem? What do you other guys think about that?
Kobus, 100%. The saying, too many cooks spoils the broth. I think it's just too many people that wants to feel important in the Shark Tank at the moment. Concern to me is, if you look at them going back and basically selecting Cooney. Look, Cooney was a good scrummager. He was a good prop. But he's getting long on the tooth now. He is. That's like scraping the bottom of the barrel, age-wise. I'm not talking about ability-wise. I'm talking about age-wise, and that's a concern to me. They do not have the scrum power that they used to have. Moya, you touched on it. Discipline. Do the basics right, and the rest will fall into place. It's as simple as that.
I think one of the problems might be that there's, the players at the moment at the Sharks is not all the same kind of players that were under Plumtree when he was the coach a long time ago. Maybe there's some, I don't know, maybe there's some culture issues or something. Maybe they don't, they don't get to know him. If they don't know him as a coach, maybe, and they still maybe learning on how to execute what he's trying to tell them. I don't know, but I've said it. I'm saying it again. He's not the best coach for me. The Sharks should have taken their time, and they should have appointed a much better coach that I think would have fit in with their culture there. I don't think Plumtree is fitting in with this culture at the moment.
Yeah, that definitely could be an issue that they have there because, don't get me wrong, it's good to have specialists for some things, but why do you have a forwards coach, a line-out coach, and a scrum coach? Scrum coach, I can understand. Your forwards coach should also be your line-outs coach, would be my feeling. Where you have an attack coach, then you have a breakdown coach, then you have a this coach, that coach. Yeah, there might be too many voices, and I think also one of the tricky things at the moment is Plumtree is coach, and Neil Powell is director of rugby. Is there enough separation there? Is Plumtree able to do what he wants to do? Or is it a case where he's going under Neil Powell's direction? Because when Neil Powell was in charge, briefly, things weren't all that great for the Sharks anyway. So, yeah, I think that could actually be part of the issue they've got.
Julle ken my, ek moet 'n klip in die bos gooi. Ek moet dit om altyd in die bos gooi. Die Stormers doen goed. Blerry goed. Die Sharks, hulle sukkel. Die een span het baie geld en baie gekoop. Kan jy vra van die coaches? Die Stormers kan ek so ver gaan om te sê hulle mis nie regtig veel hulle bokke nie. Hulle die diepte om te survive. Waar die Sharks met al die geld nie vir my lyk of hulle sonder hulle springbokke kan gaan nie. Wat lekker vir die Leeu's nou is, ons het nie springbokke nie, maar hoekom kapitaliseer ons nie daarop nie? Laas jaar, hierdie jaar beter, ons in die top 8 wees at least. At least. En dan nog 'n ander ding, ons almal het vir ou Jake so gespot, nê? Ons het vir hom lelik gespot en gesê ja, met al die geld, hy kry niks reg nie. Hierdie seisoen begin hy iets reg kry. Daar's iets by die bulle in die gang, ek weet nie wat doen hulle daar nie. Maar soveel as wat ons hulle haat, soveel kan ons uit dit met ook. Hulle lyk die mees suksesvolle span vir die URC so ver.
Yeah, that's a good point. And you know what? I think looking at the three teams who've got Springboks, who are going to be coming back, the Bulls. At the moment, you know that the guys who are going to come in will bring more quality, but the Bulls aren't looking like they're battling without these guys. The Stormers as well. They have struck gold in terms of their depth now, where even with an injury crisis at center, they're still looking very decent. I will say against Benetton, they probably should have gone for poles a bit more, but you can understand them going for corner, especially because there were 1 or 2 missed kicks. But really, this is a team who looks like contenders. Now for the Sharks, it's very different because they're looking like a team that, much as you have individuals putting their hand up, they're not clicking as a team. And the problem is, you can't have it where, okay, you now need your Springboks in order to do that. And I don't want to be that person, but I think it's really good for them for this season that they're playing Challenge Cup instead of Champions Cup, because if they're playing Champions Cup the way they're currently playing, it would end very poorly for them. And I'll say the Lions have a fantastic opportunity because having no Springboks means, our squad, apart from injuries, remains undisrupted, right? And we have that opportunity as well to give everyone a run and have everyone show what they can do, and hopefully then get into Bok contention. I'm thinking, for 2027, really my hope is that we should have, I want to say, 4 people in the Springbok squad.
My take on the Bulls is, and please correct me if I'm wrong, it's not a bull side, it's a combination side because you bought from all over. But yeah, Niels, I have to agree they are doing something right. Stormers shouldn't have lost the game, Moyo was right, but unfortunately they did. I'm going to back myself from what I said last week. We needed this win, the Lions needed this win. I think we're going to see new attitude and a new style of playing with more positivity this weekend, and I think we're going to give a lot of people a surprise in the next couple of games.
Yeah, agreed. And you know what? I think Jake White showed he's a better recruiter than the people in charge of recruiting at the Sharks, because Jake White could have gone for like full all-star team, but he's taken, some people who are past their best. He's taken some youngsters and he's taken some people in their prime. The Sharks tried to go like, okay, let's get in all the big names we can, and sometimes it doesn't work as well as one thought it would. And yeah, I agree as well with the Lions. Turning that corner was important, and what I liked as well was that we hung in there. There've been how many games where our heads have dropped. We've gone down like by however many points, and you can just see like the team already looks deflated. There we said no. We are playing to the final minute, and that's that hunger. That's that hunger that can get us to really good places this season.
Yes, I think you guys summed it up quite good with reference to all the teams. And yes, Kobus, but the Bulls is performing. Let's make no mistake about that. But yeah, they are basically a combined team of all over. You're quite right about that. I hope you're right about the Lions. I'm also more positive now than what I was previously, because, like you said also in the previous podcast, they just didn't look if they wanted to win a game. Maybe referring to the game before last week's game, but I think maybe there might be some little bit of fire that was ignited there. So let's hope they can come with a really good attitude and, like you say, surprise all of us.
Yeah, the thing is, there's a saying that says winning breeds winning. In other words, continuity will build and build and build and give the guys more and more and more confidence. And at the end of the day, winning will become second nature. And I think that's what's happening at the Bulls at the moment, as well as at the Stormers. And at the Sharks, who knows what's going on there. I don't know whether there is maybe a clash of, I would say, no, not seniority, but the age gap between Plumtree and Neil. Well, the age gap shouldn't be that big, but in any case, Neil coming from a background of played for 15, then he took over the sevens, made a huge success with the sevens, and the Sharks thought, well, buying the national coach of the sevens, it will lead to that flair, that the sevens are known for in the URC squad. Unfortunately, that does not materialize, or has not materialized as yet. So the question is, is there not perhaps a clash of, Neil wants this and Plumtree wants that, and at the end of the day there's a clash, and the poor players does not know, what is expected of them. That might be the problem. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree, Eugene. That clash could be an issue that's there. But one thing that popped into my mind as well, and it's something that we've lamented as Lions fans before, is there were a lot of simple errors that the Sharks were making. Even the commentators were like, "Well, okay, another knock-on." The Sharks were trying to get themselves into good places, and then no, they fumble the ball. They do something silly, and next thing you know, they're under pressure again. And it's weird because some of the people making those mistakes are people where it's like, hey, you know what? People were calling for you to have been at the past World Cup. People are like, he can feel a little hard done by because he didn't make it. How are you making those sorts of errors? And the question then will be, how do they fix it? I think, within our camp, we've had issues like that before, and thankfully, this past game showed, much as it wasn't the perfect performance, we at least, corrected some of the wrongs from the previous game, which was good.
Well, I have to agree with you about the Sharks. You look at Van Rensburg, Rowan Jansen van Rensburg, Trokkie, as we know him with the Lions. He used to bulldoze his way all over the park. Since he came back, he's not the same. Since he's been in the Sharks jersey. Deante, after his 4-year ban, he came back, not playing the world on fire. Carl Usari, how many starts has he had since he's been bought by the Sharks? But enough about the Sharks and other guys. The Lions, our team. I really, really think this is going to be a good game this weekend. I think we can pull it through. Like Eugene said, the heads are not hanging anymore. If they can come in with an attitude from the start and keep it up, we might be in for another win this weekend on Friday night.
Yeah, I agree, Cobus. I agree all the way. And yeah, this is probably the toughest game. Well, I would say it is definitely the toughest game of this tour. And I really think people are going to put their hands up. The nice thing is, we have a good bench, and we had solid starters as well. And looking at the selection, it made sense. To my mind, it makes sense to start with Willem Alberts. Let's start heavy. Let's start, really tenderize them. Second half, you bring on the faster guys. We up the tempo and we keep it going. Look, it is going to be a difficult game, but like we showed this past week, we only need to win by 1 point. Fantastic if we can win by more, but if we get just 1 point ahead, boom, then we're there.
Well, quick question. Don't you think the mistakes made by the Lions and the Sharks, the knock-ons, the kicks that's not going out, don't you think the guys are too eager to prove themselves, or is it just a bit of a lack of self-confidence? To me, it's those two. That's a deadly combination. They don't believe in themselves after all the losses, and then they come back the next game and they're too eager to perform. Don't you think, especially the Lions side, should just calm down a bit, just do the basics right, like every 6 week in and week out, and then see where it goes from there?
Kyk, julle gesels so lekker. Ek wil net gou hier inklim en net iets vir julle vra. Net vanaand 'n vraagie. Hoekom ons penalty counts hierdie seisoen is so hoog? Rarig, dis scary hoog. Ons penalty counts is nie mooi nie. Wat het verander teen my laas jaar? Ja, enige nuwe reëls bygekom wat ek nie van weet nie. Of ons word gestraf. En die ander ding wat my ook worry is, ons skep nie ons eie geleenthede nie. Ons is half so 50-50 in 'n ding en verwag 'n fout van die ander span. Soos ons wen 3, as hy nie teen dinge so vasgeskop het nie, dan het Enko nie die bal gehad nie, ons het nie geskor nie. Weer eens, ons nie daai posisie daai man hoef nie te geskop het nie, hy kon gepaas het, of hy kon gehardloop het, of wat ook al. Hy het die verkeerde besluit gemaak, en dit het ons iets, maar ons skep nie ons eie geleenthede nie.
Kyk Niels, die strafskoppe kan ek half saam met jou stem, ek verstaan ook nie lekker nie, maar ek moet ook vir jou sê dat ek het nou 'n paar keer die highlights gaan kyk, waarvoor die Joos ons nommer 10 daai laaste bal gaan skop het. Ja, dat het goed uitgewerk vir ons, maar hoekom gaan skop jy 'n bal, jy sê 50-50, as die game amper het laas en jy loop agter? Dank die Vader, Henko het gaan druk in die afskop die skop was afgestorm. Maar as dit nie was net, ons dalk die game weer verloor, ook verloor. Ek bly altyd sê, dit geen om wie dit is nie, die Bokke uit die Blacks, die bulle, as jy agter is en jy is op die aanval, hoekom skop jy balbesit weg? Ek verstaan dit nie.
Yeah, the penalty count is definitely something we need to keep an eye on because, really one big thing, and it's something that I took from the World Cup as well, is you want to paint a positive picture for the ref. If the ref is now saying like, no, you know what, you guys are all making the same mistake, you're not rolling way fast enough, and it's all of you, or you keep going off your feet at the rack, or you keep doing this, that becomes a problem because then those marginal calls will also start going against you because the ref is going to be like, well, look, I'm expecting you to do this because what have you shown me previously? So that we need to cut down. Also being vulnerable after we score, and I think we're working on that. But yeah, just making sure that when we score, it's not a case where, suddenly we've forgotten how to rugby for a few seconds afterwards because, we're still celebrating that we scored.
I agree, Moyo. I keep on saying, do the basics. Keep playing in their faces. They will start making mistakes, and then we capitalize. Don't overcook things. Don't go look for the wild passes. That hardly ever works. It's once in a million that a long pass or slip pass works, or a little grabber works. Do the basics. Stay in their faces, and then gaps will start opening up.
Yeah, I think definitely if we are able to keep it direct, and that was something I mentioned last week as well. You can't go for the miracle pass all the time. You can't go for fancy stuff from the get-go. Let's start direct. When they say you earn the right to go wide, that's true. We can play it tight and then expand. Because sometimes when you start to feel the pressure, you then, you might be low on confidence because you're like, oh, it didn't work last time. Okay, but this time. And now you overcook it or you undercook it because, the desperation grows. And I think that's where, you need calm heads in the team to be able to be like, wait, let's breathe. Now back to business.
So ons voorspelers is maar bietjie lig, kom ons wees eerlik. So ons kort bietjie beef daar dat ons ook kan terugboelie. Want as ons forwards onder druk gaan wees, gaan ons loskakel onder druk wees en dan gaan ons agterlyn onder druk wees en ons gaan heeltyd op die agtervoet wees en dan gaan ons weer daai chasing game hê wat ons nie wil hê nie. Ons moet van vroeg af ons tempo net neersit met ons forwards. Ons moet hulle wys ons is hier en ons moet nie net 80 minute nie, net 89, ons moet ry wees om 100 minute te speel.
Die een ding wat my baie bly gemaak het van die game hier naweek, ons het nie te ver agter geraak en dan probeer catch-up speel nie. Ons het redelik tot die wen-3 het ons redelik op hulle stert gebly. Ek sou nog steeds verkies om voor te kom en voor te bly, maar nou ja, soos ook Dani Kreeman al gesê het, look at the scoreboard, dit was 'n wen en ons het dit nodig gehad. Maar ek is regtig bly ons het nie 15-20 punte agter geraak en dan probeer terugkom nie. Soos in die Stormers met die eerste game, ons kon daai game gewen het as ons net meer in kontak met die telling gebly het. Maar nou ja, soos ek bly sê, basics manne, die eerste wen is daar en ek glo is die eerste van baie hierdie seisoen.
Yeah, if the forwards do the good work that we're hoping they do, the back line can flow, And the thing that I said last week, which made me really happy because that's how we scored that winning try, be in their faces the whole time. If you give teams time and space with the ball, they're going to punish you. If you're constantly just right in their faces, they then have to start trying too hard, right? They then have to go for the miracle ball or, a magic kick to get things going because they're not finding ways through.
Ek wil graag 'n ander punt of 'n ander klip in die bos gooi soos jy sê Niels en ek sal graag wil hoor wat is julle manne se siening oor dit. Ek het 'n probleem daarmee laat ons heeltyd die blerry bal terugskop in die ander span se hande. Hoekom sal jy dit wil doen? As iemand vir my daai konsep kan verduidelik, nou goed ek weet, baie keer wil jy dalk dat die ander span aanval en hulle ook in foute dwing of miskien 'n turnover maak, maar dit maak nie vir my sin nie, want wat ek sal doen is, ek sal sê skop die donder se bal uit, naby in hulle halfgebied of kwartgebied, en as jy dan, daar kan jy dan gaan, werk aan jou lyn staan, dat jy dan meer ding in die lyn, sit ek op hulle in die lyn staan. As hulle daar foute maak, is dit makliker om dalk van dit af te gaan skor, as wat jy net die blerry bal net wegskop in hulle hande, en hulle kom dalk deur 'n gap en hulle gaan skor. Daai hele konsep van skop die bal in hulle hande en maak nie vir my sin nie. Daar's vir my geen, ek kan geen positiewe ding daaruit sien nie. Miskien kan julle my reghelp en my sê, hoekom dink julle doen hulle dit en hoekom skop ons nie eerder uit nie? Want nader aan hulle doelgebied, dink ek is die druk baie meer op hulle as wat hulle net die ding vat en hom weer terugskop. Sê vir my, wat dink julle van dit?
Okay, my 2 cents worth regarding the penalty count. We must bear in mind that the Northern Hemisphere refs interprets the rules slightly different than the Southern Hemisphere. We saw that in the World Cup as well. The time from when the ball is safe in a scrum to when the referee calls use it. In a lot of cases it's very, very, very short. Very marginal, let's put it that way. And some of the penalties against us was also marginal, really marginal. So yeah, I don't want to blame the refs all the time. That's not the way to fix the thing. But just to get back to what Quiver said, and Moya said as well regarding confidence. I think the game that we won last weekend was a big confidence booster for the guys. But now the guys must just not get a false sense of confidence and think, we just have to turn up because that's where the danger lies. Then it doesn't help you. You can have the best game plan under the sun, but if your opposition keeps on running at you, you're going to come short. Kicking ball away does not help either because you cannot go and score tries without the ball. It's as simple as that.
Andre, ja, ek verstaan daai een self nie. Want al wat jy doen is jy maak jou agterlyn. Daai is die ouens wat die meeste meters hardloop op 'n rugbyveld, né? Nou die hele tyd moet hy daai bal chase. Jy maak jou vleuels moeg, man. Vir niks. Dan skop jy nou 10 meter net te kort. Hy kom in hulle heel agterse hande of wie ook al agter is om te dek. En alles is verniet. Daai vleuel van jou het alles uitgehaal, gesnol vir niks. Jy maak jou agterspeler moeg net. Kry hy die bal, moet jou voorspelers hulle bene dra om daai groot lywe by daai loskram te kry. Sy maak hulle ook moeg. Maar as jy met die bal hardloop, is dit nie al 15 spelers wat gelyk hardloop nie. Dit is dieselfde ding soos jy praat met die lynstaande. Vandat hulle hierdie rolmaalbeweging kwaai begin doen, wil die ouens nie meer kompeteer in die lynstaande nie. Want as jy 'n 5 meter skram teen jou het, wil jy nie kompeteer nie, want jy verwag klaar, hier kom 'n rolmaal. Jy wil nie jou spelers in die lug hê nie. Jy soek hulle op die grond, klaar, reeds. Want dis die gouste wat jy 'n losgemaak kan stop as hy begin. Kan jy hom smoor en die ref gaan sê use it, want dan gaan hulle dit vat as 'n skram. So nee. Rugby, daar snaakse dinge, jong, snaakse dinge. 'n Sekere goed wat begin inkom by die game is vir die beste en dan kry 'n sekere goed wat inkom wat net nie sens maak nie en wat net nie regtig vrugte afpluk nie.
Yeah, to your point, Andre, I think, I can understand teams wanting to kick for territory, but as you say, you need to then, like, for instance, if you're going for a 50-22, make it count. Where you get into, a tennis match of, okay, we're kicking, they're kicking back, we're kicking, they're kicking back, you have to have a plan there. And my thing is, if you know you've got chasers who will then put pressure on an isolated catcher for the other team, great. But, I think sometimes this is sort of, it seems like the kicking isn't so much into open space. It's actually sort of like, okay, where's the person? Let's just kick to them. And then they'll kick back and then we're going to do something. It's a dangerous game to play. And look, I know sometimes you want to, not play in your own half, etc. But then those kicks have to count. And, the 50-22 rule actually now makes it, quite attractive for teams to make sure the ball goes out because, hey, you could actually secure a line out if you do it right. But the execution then needs to be there.
Maar sekerlik, Eugene, dis ons 3de seisoen in URC. Ons moet mos nou al weet hoe die noorde res blaas. Ons moes al laas jaar se penalty counts was glad nie so in 4 games nie. Dis toe ons daai dinge se by Ospreys hulle gaan slaan daar oorkant, toe ons daai suksesvolle toer gehad het. Die jaar voor dit was dit ook nie sleg nie. Dus nou in die 4 games het ons meer as jy hom meet teen laas jaar en die jaar voor dit. So eerste 4 games.
Niels, ek mag verkeerd wees, maar ek dink ook dat die ouens besef dat almal verwag van hulle 'n beter seisoen die jaar en hulle probeer dalk bietjie hard. Ek mag verkeerd wees, ek dink as net daai over-eagerness partymal wat inkom. En ek stem saam met die Jean oor die hulle wil nie groot kop kry nou nie, maar ek dink ook dis daar waar mense soos wat sy naam ons coaches sal praat en sê kyk, julle het gewen, maar is een wen en vat dit game vir game. En ek dink as dit gebeur dan sal die manne nie complacent raak nie. Ek dink net die wen was nodig en ek dink die manne gaan hierdie naweek met meer positiviteit op die veld hardloop.
Yeah, I think a plus here is, to my knowledge, we've never beaten Ulster. Could be wrong, because if I might be misremembering, but I remember when we played them at home, it seemed like we could win and we didn't. So now, I think that helps where it's good that we're going in with confidence, but it's not like, oh, okay, put it this way. If it was Zebra, and also if Zebra had lost this past weekend, we might then go in a bit complacent. Here it's like, well, look, we won by 1 point against a team, we've beaten previously. Mind you, we hadn't beaten them away, and now we have, but now it's like, okay, you know what, to beat Ulster at Kingspan Stadium is a massive feat. If we can pull that off, that then, really puts us in good stead. So I think the confidence is good, but I doubt we'll go in being overconfident for this one, which is good.
Kobus 100%, dat jy weet, en daai gesegde wat sê, jy weet, een swaakie maak nie die somer nie. 100% korrek. En Niels, ja, nee, jy is reg, maar ek meen as jy kyk na hoe die reëls hierdie jaar geïnterpreteer was met die Wêreldbeker. Ek meen daar was baie meer daar was baie strenger opgetree teenoor oortredings wat dalk in die verlede nie so pertinent uitgewys sou gewees het nie. En ek dink van die skeieregters is dalk bang. Jy weet, as hulle nie streng genoeg is nie, jy weet dat die game skade berokken. Ek weet nie. Ek gooi 'n klip in die bos daarmee. Maar op die einde van die dag, die ouens moet ja, hulle moet aanpas by die game. Lees ek weet op sommige ref op in die eerste 10 minute. Weet en pas je game aan naby. Weet as hy weet die tydperk is om in die bal uitkom met die scrum uit en hy wat sê use it baie verkort is dan laat loop jy die bal so gou as wat jy moontlik kan. Ja, ek verstaan. Jy weet jy wil jou agterlyn in plek hê en al daai klas van goede. Dis verstaanbaar. Maar dan sal jy net 'n bietjie vinniger die spel so 'n bietjie vinniger moet maak om te verhoed dat jy weer 'n turnover bal of iets van die aard in jou kry. Die losse skoppery, soos ek nou gesê het, jy kan nie 'n 3 gaan druk sonder die bal nie. Jy kan nie speel sonder dat jy die bal in jou hande het nie. En ja, nee, ek meen die meters wat die agterlyn met hardloop op die veld, al agter hierdie doellose, sinnelose skoppe, dis astronomies. En dan ook natuurlik jy maak nie net jou agterlyn moeg, jy maak jou voorspelers moeg ook, want hulle is heen en weer oor die veld. Kyk, hulle dalk nou nie so vinnig soos die agterlyn nie, maar hulle moet nog steeds heen en weer hardloop op die einde van die dag. So ja, maar dissipline, doen die basiese goed reg en op die einde van die dag sal jy die vrugte daarvan pluk.
Kobus, en sê vir my, wat is jou mening oor dit wat ek gesê het oor die wegskoppery in die ander ouens se hande, en ek sal graag jou mening oor dit wil hoor. Sê ons bietjie, wat dink jy van dit? En dan het ek net vinnig 'n ander punt wat ek wil aanraak, ouens. Ek sal eerder vir Kalifisagie begin en vir ons ander haker eerder van die bank af speel, of PJ Botha, want ek weet nie, PJ is nie vir my nie heeltemal in dieselfde klas met sy lyn staan ingooi as wat Kali is. Sê my, wat dink julle daarvan?
André, moenie laat ek begin nie. Ek sê dit al vir donkie jare. En dieselfde weer eens, oor die Blacks, oor die Bokke, oor elke span. Waarvoor dit donder gaan skop jy balbesit weg. Tensy jy 2 centers langs het, wat gaat nie kan rugby speel nie. Jy skop of 'n skop wat gaan werk in die hoekie, of jy skop uit. Onnodige skoppery is net nie 'n ding vir my nie. Ek het lank loskalkel gespeel op skool, en selfs vir die SA Weermag, en dit is nie windgattigheid nie, maar ek het nie geglo in 'n geskoppery nie. Ek het geskop wanneer dit nodig is, pale toe of hoek toe of kant en toe. Anders dan het ek die bal laat gaan. Dis waarvoor die spelers langs jou het. Jy speel nie dryfentjies nie. Ons het daarin gespeel toe ons 2-2 was op rugby, van ons speel die dryfentjies. Nie 15-15 nie.
Andre, I think, you know, Jaco Versaki can help us up the tempo. And I think what we're going for with the bench is that, you know, we want that boost where, as the opposition's tiring, that's where we can, you know, start to move faster and faster and faster. You know, if you bring on PJ Botha, he's a bit slower than Jaco Versaki. I think his line-out throwing, it's weird because it's good till it's not. You know, and sometimes that lack of consistency gets a bit worrying, but when he's on, he's on. So now, you know, we just need him to be on all the time. Because, yeah, there were a few lineouts in this past game that had me stressed. You know, because it was like, okay, we're getting into a good spot and we're giving away lineout ball. That's not going to fly against a team like Ulster.
Nou wil ek nog 'n klip in die bos gooi. Ek wil julle nou vra oor die Ulster game. Ons weet Ulster is 'n sterk span. Van hulle kant af dink ek, hulle sien ons as 'n soft target. Hulle sien 5 punte klaar op die bord. En dis ons het like, want dan kan ons hulle surprise en het op hulle party piepie. Maar my vraag is, as jy Ulster was, wat sou jou gameplan wees teen die Lions? Ek sou like om daai in te hoor, wat dink julle? Vir my, ek sou gesê het, gaan groot, toets die Lions die eerste 15 minute hard, val op die wye kanale. Op die kante is ons weak. Ja, die Lions nou, eintlik. En dan ook, as jy 2 vinnige 3 druk, dis 14-0, dan is die druk op ons. Van die ander ding is, ons het elke game nog het ons 'n bonuspunt gekry. Behalwe nou die laaste een, ons het 4 punte gekry, maar ons verloor games, het ons met punte daar weggestap. So definitief Ulster weet, en sê, luister, hier ons, hulle gaan binne score range bly, maar as ons van die begin af, gaan we 14-0 op hulle kan sit, gaan ons hulle dwing om foute te maak, want hulle gaan oorhaastig raak, gretig raak, om hy verskil in te haal. En klaar met die penalty count, as ek Ulster was, sou ek dit so gemelk het.
So if I'm Ulster, you know what I do? I would go for the rucks. I would attack our rucks every time, try to force turnovers. There are times where we don't commit enough people, you know, or we will be there, but we're not dominantly over. And force those penalties and get a good buffer, you know, because really, and it's something that I think I mentioned I wanted us to do, is, you know, kick for poles till we have maybe a 9-point or 12-point lead, then you can start pushing for tries. off penalties. Yes, it's not always clear cut because sometimes you can feel like you have a team on the ropes, and so you want to set the line out, etc. But then you need the line out to count. Whereas if you keep the scoreboard ticking over, and the team feels like they can't actually gain a rhythm because the ball keeps getting stolen. That's how you get into a team's head. That's how you make sure, they feel a bit demoralized.
Niels, ten opsigte wat jy gesê het van Ulster se gameplan. As ek Ulster was, in die eerste 10 minute toets hulle onder die hoë bal en kyk wat gebeur. Maar dan sal jy agterlyn baie vinnig met opvolg. Vir die losbal en so aan. En ja, soos jy sê, jy weet, so die Engels sal sê, stranger things has happened. Ek meen, van die Lions spelers is nie so goed onder die hoë bal as wat ons hulle graag wil hê nie. En dis waar die probleem in kom. Weet knock-ons en daai tipe van dinge. Weet jy, soos Andries die drywingkies te speel, weet hulle, die opponente sit die hoë bal op, jy kry die bal, jy sit die hoë bal op. Daai ding werk nie. En ek wil graag enige coach moet vir my sê, dit werk, want dit werk nie. Duidelik sien hulle dalk iets, of weet hulle dalk iets wat ek nie weet nie, maar logiese gesonde verstand sê vir my dit werk nie. Ja, jy weet hoe die haker Kari Versaghi en PJ, ek gee nie om wat een van die twee begin nie. Regtig waar, ek gee nie om nie. Vir my gaan dit daaroor dat jy moet die springers vind. En ek dink al twee, Kari sowel as PJ moet 'n bietjie werk aan hulle akkuraatheid met die ingooie. Want glo vir my, jy wil nie 'n lynstandbal verloor teen Ulster nie. Hulle gaan vir jou seermaak. So ja. Dis my 2 sent werd.
Yes, Muyo, I agree with you 100%. You summed it up very, very good. And also, concerning the scoreboard pressure, I agree with you. Get some points on the board and keep the board the score ticking over and over if you can, and then you can put some more pressure on us as well. 100% summed up. I agree with you there.
I fully agree with you guys. I've said this all season long last year on the Lions group before I deleted myself. I've said it this year a few times. Score points, keep scoring, keep them under pressure. If they have to play catch-up rugby, they will make the mistakes and we will pounce on that mistakes. That has been our problem for the first 3 games. We keep on playing catch-up rugby, or we're trying to play catch-up rugby and we make the mistakes. Let's put Ulster under pressure and see what happens with them. Like Eugene said, put high kicks in, see what their backline does, but also chase every single ball. If a kick goes up, chase it. If a guy catches it, tackle him, smother him with the ball and all. We score, keep the score on. Not we score, they score. We score, and put them under pressure. And let's see how they like it.
Yeah, 100%. Stay in their faces and keep that scoreboard ticking over. Then we're golden. Then, because here's the thing. They're a quality team. They're going to try push back. But if we can get to that point where it doesn't matter how much they push back, it's just that step too far, then we're fine. And teams have done that to us before. The shoe needs to be on the other foot. That needs to be the plan going forward now.
Covers 100%. I see the tendency more and more. a team, a local team, Lions, Stormers, whoever, scores a try, and then they think, we now scored a try. Then they relax, and that's when the mistakes creep in, and your opponents then capitalize on it. You score a try, keep on the pressure. Don't relax. Keep the pressure. And they're going to make the mistakes because they're going to see, these guys are serious in playing rugby, and really, they're here to play. They're not here to, as someone would say, pussyfoot around. They're here to make an impact and win the game. And if you put on a quick 12-15 points within the first 15 minutes with no reply from the opponents, they got to play the catch up rugby, as Cooper said, and then they under pressure, they're on the back foot, and they're going to try everything, and that's where the mistakes on their side is going to creep in, and you're going to capitalize on it. And yes, if there's points on offer, go for poles, go for the points. Every single point in a game counts. Like, if you in your 25, and you or between the 25, between the 25 and the 10-yard line, or between the 10-yard line and the halfway line, you try and kick for the corner. If you see your rucks does not work, or your rolling maul does not work, don't do it. Don't do it. Keep the ball in hand, because by kicking it out, you're actually giving a free pass to the opponents, because they're going to defend their line. It's going to be on their throw-in. They're going to compete for the ball, and 90% of the times they're going to win the ball, and they will run at you. So keep the pressure on. If you score, keep the pressure on. Keep on scoring, and that way the gaps will appear, because they will be on the defense, and they will be very, I wouldn't say cautious, but they will be prone to making mistakes.
Nog 'n ding wat ek dink ons ook moet doen, manne, is ons moet ons verdediging ook druk op hulle sit. Ons moet regtig ons verdediging op so 'n manier doen dat ons vir hulle kan wys, maar julle gaan nie maklik hier deurkom. Jy weet, so dit ou moet hulle half moedeloos tackle. Ek weet dit is makliker gesê as gedaan, maar ek dink dit is een aspek wat ons ook werklik moet op probeer fokus en verbeter. En dan net 'n ander ding, wat vir my ook, wat ek ook nie kan verstaan nie, soos ek dink dit was Eugene wat nou gesê het, ons moet iemand kry wat die bal kan turnover. Nou ons sit met 'n JC op die bank. Ouens, hoekom speel ons nie daai ouetjie daarom ten minste net vir 60 plus minute eerste net nie? Dan kan iemand anders kom oorvat van die bank af. Want hoekom ek dit sê is, elke keer dan laat ons hom opkom in die laaste 5 of 10 minute, dan verwag ons hy met 'n towerstaffie swaai en die game vir ons wen. Kan nie so werk nie. Gebruik hom tot sy volle potensiaal. Gee hom een game waar hy kan die hele game of dan 60 of 70 minute speel en kyk hoe gaan dit. Ek kan julle waarborg, hy gaan 'n klomp turnovers vir ons wen.
So controversial, or potentially controversial opinion regarding JC Pretorius. I think for now, we use him as a super sub. Maybe give him more time, yes, but I think him coming off the bench against tired legs works fantastically. And, it's something that I've backed when the Boks have done it with the likes of Malcolm Marx as well, and Kwaka. These are guys who, if you want to really turn the tide, these are the guys. Also, if you have pretty much done 90% of the job and you need to be sure you finish it off, these are the guys you bring on. Because now, especially against tired legs, the opposition is going to be at 6s and 7s. Because also when you start someone like that, yes, they can be getting turnovers the whole day. But the opposition also starts planning around that and starts adapting. Whereas when you bring them on later in the game, the opposition doesn't really have as much opportunity to adapt, and that's what keeps the guys super effective. I think for this coming weekend, you know, the Sharks and yeah, the Sharks will benefit from being at home. I think they'll want to put the tour behind them, but also they'll benefit from having their Springboks in. So, you know, they could actually get a win. Um, Bulls Edinburgh, can the Bulls do the business? I think they can. You know, they've shuffled their squad a little bit, which you know, one speaks to confidence that they have, but also I think it you know, they're now giving someone like Jaco van der Walt an opportunity, which is great because he knows that those conditions very well. So yeah, I think the Bulls should take that one. Stormers, you know, it's a tough one, especially because I think they're playing Munster. Munster have got some injuries. Yeah, Stormers can do the business, especially because now they also might exercise, you know, the opportunity of bringing their box back.
Moyo, I can't agree with you more. A lot of people always said, bring Kwagga, bring Kwagga, bring Kwagga. He's more dangerous in the last 20 minutes or so than in a full game. And I think JC is exactly the same. I have to fully agree with you on that one. To bring a like JC Kwagga on, when the guy's already tired and he's got fresh legs, then it's when panic sets in from opposition, because then they know they got problems.
Okay, hoe wat jy en Kobus sê maak sin vir my. Ek verstaan dit 100%, maar moet dan nie vir JC net vir 5 minute opstuur nie, want dit maak nie vir my sin. Stuur hom dan ten minste na 20 minute of so, daai laaste 20 of 15 minute ten minste. Dan kan hy skade maak, maar jy kan nie van hom verwag hy met 'n 5 minute se tyd nou skielik al die skade maak om op te maak en die game te wen nie. Dis maar net my siening.
Yeah, indeed. And you know, it can also have a positive psychological boost for us, and you know, a negative psychological impact on the opposition. You know, because again, when you notice, like, you know, say we have them under the pump, and now like, oh, now these guys are coming on. Whew, our day just got more difficult. That's the sort of impact you want, and I'm quite happy that, you know, we have seemingly built up a bit of a bomb squad for the Lions, and yeah, you know, I think, you know, if we can keep that strong, where we start strong and we finish stronger, I'm happy.
Niels, ek het net gou vinnig gekyk, Belfast in Ierland, dit reën, Saterdag 80% kans vir reën. So ja, dit gaan 9 uit 10 keer 'n nat game wees, so ja, dit gaan 'n harde game wees. Maar ons sal moet ons sal maar net vas staan.
Moyo, Andre, I fully agree. We have to bring our super subs at least 20 to 15 to 20 minutes before the end of the game. We have to bring them on. Why anyone would bring a sub on unless a very serious injury occurs for the last 5 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever. That to me is playing stupidity. Sorry, but that's the way I look at it. There's no reason to sub anyone on the 78th minute unless a broken leg or broken arm, or he's lost his head or something. Joke. But yes, super subs, chasing and those people, they must be given at least 15 to 20 minutes to play and to create havoc.
Fully agree. I mean, I just cannot understand as to why subs get brought on for the last 8 or 5 or 2 minutes. It makes no sense. To me, it's counterproductive, especially amongst the forwards, for the simple fact that you know, that person's got to slot in, and from the minute he sets his foot on the park, he's got to produce, and if he doesn't produce, he's labelled as not producing. You can't expect miracles from any player in the last 8 or 5 or 2 minutes. You just cannot expect that from a guy. It's impossible.
Oom Kobus, daar stem ek ook saam met oom. Die substorie, baie coaches voel hy moet sy hele subbank leegmaak, hy moet. Hy mag nie een speler op hy bank los nie. Nou die ou wat vir 60 minute perform, jy haal hom af, die nuwe man moet inkom, want daai speler is nou moeg. Brul 2, jy moet vir 80 minute kan speel. Daar's baie ons, Frans Steiner het nou die dag nog gedoen en kyk hoe oud is hy. So daar is nie van, ek is nie fiks genoeg of iets nie, nee man. As jy nie 'n besering het nie en jy doen goed, hoekom moet jy afgehaal word, net omdat jy replacement op die bank het? Ja, as die replacement beter is as jy in die laaste, as jy spel vinniger wil maak of wat ook al, vir strategie, ja, doen 'n replacement, maar nie net sommer om te sien die ander coach doen dit, so kom ek sit ook nou 'n paar ouens op hierso nie. Jy doen dit doelloos en planloos. Daar's baie games wat so verlore is al. In die laaste doodsnikke of iets van 'n game, dan kom replacement op. Dan sit 'n scrum op iets en dan skielik verloor jy die scrum. Daar gaan jou kans om jou 3 te druk. Of daar's baie gevalle waar dit baie scenario's waar dit al gebeur het.
Jy sien Niels, my probleem met dit is, en ek stem met jou saam, nou het jy vir 60 minute 'n span wat goed saamspeel en skielik haal jy iemand af en jy sit iemand anders op. Jy versteur jou ritme. Daar's 'n ou gesigte wat sê jy karring nie aan 'n ding wat werk nie. Jy maak nie 'n ding reg wat nie stikkend is nie. As 'n ding werk, as 'n span goed speel, saamspeel vir 60, 70 minute, is daar geen rede om subs op te bring, tensy jy byvoorbeeld ou soos JC opbring wat gaan balle steel of so iets nie. Maar veral as jy voor is en jy's ver voor met 20 of 25 punte, waarvoor bring jy subs op? Jou span werk mos, dit werk mos. Jy gaan mos nie 'n kar wat loop stop en sy net mekaar die bal gaan strip en dan kyk wat aangaan nie. Hy werk mos, so jy ruim tot hy breek.
Het julle enige nuus al gehoor van Darian Landsberg? Is hy reg of wat? Ek het nog nie die span gesien wat speel nie. Ek moet nog die span kry. Ek hoor maar net Willem Albus is in, maar ek weet nie hoe lyk die res van die span nie. Maar Darian Landsberg, is hy daar of is hy nou regtig beseer?
Ek dink Darian is beseer want ek dink nie want hulle het hom nie eers op die bank nie en ek dink dit is die laaste game. Ek weet nie, ons sal maar seker ook hoor as hy hier is.
Yeah, it seems Landsberg is still injured. And look, I think Ruan Delport played quite well this past weekend. But, as I said previously, him being the faster of the two between him and Willem Alberts, and also Willem Alberts being the more physical, I think it's a good plan to have it where Alberts starts and then Delport comes through.
Look, Alberts is absolutely a machine. For him to play first as rugby at that age is brilliant. But I agree more, he must start and then maybe early and second half replace him and then he will have done the hard work.
So vanuit die span gekyk, lyk nie te sleg nie. Maar ja, ons sal nou maar sien wat gebeur Saterdag. Soos ek gesê het, ek het vinnig gekyk na die weer in Belfast. 80% kans vir reën Saterdag. So ja, dit kan 'n taai game wees op 'n nat veld. Maar jy weet, weer eens is dit 'n geval van jy moet aanpas by omstandighede. En of het nou nat droog, sonskyn op het sneeu, dit maak nie saak nie. Jy is daar om je werk te doen en maak die beste van 'n slegte saak.
Iets net gou regstelling, ons speel volgens my superbroer 9:30 Vrydag aand. So hoe lyk die weer vir Vrydag aand? Ons speel 9:30 Vrydag aand.
Yeah, indeed. Let Alberts empty the tank for the first half, or first 50 minutes. Then Delport can come in and do what he does.
My persoonlike mening is ook ons sal 'n bietjie vir Ruben Koeman ook bietjie moet laat rus op 'n stadium. Daai ou speel elke game. Jy weet, en hy's ook vir ons 'n sleutelspeler, so ons moet hom bietjie beter oppas. Ons sal moet ook 'n keer 'n kans kry, dink ek.
Yeah, we do have to be careful not to play him into the ground as well. But part of my thinking here is that, for example, when we get home after the tour and we're playing Zebra, you can. But slightly controversial, I know. We can maybe put Rowan Fenter as the forelock, and give Ruben Skuman a break. But I think also we just need to, there needs to be a time to rotate him, because if he's playing most minutes of every game, it does get to a point where he's going to need a bit of a break. So, let's make sure we are well stocked in terms of our forelocks.
Kobus, jammer. Ek het bedoel Vrydag aand. Ek weet nie hoe kon ek bly sê Saterdag nie. Maar Vrydag aand 80% kans vir reën. Soos ek al die screenshot al vir julle gestuur het. So ja, dit kan 'n nat veld wees en baie moeilik. En nie juis geskik vir hardloop rugby nie. So dit gaan 'n taai voorspeler game wees en dit kan nogal baie interessant raak.
Yeah, that weather forecast does not look pretty. 2 degrees at night, feels like 6 degrees at least, but 80% chance of rain. Oh dear. But you know what? If the week has been the same, then the guys should be used to it. It would be a problem if it was like, okay, they've had beautiful weather till the start of the game and then suddenly it's not. But the guys, and also they've been there before, so guys must adapt.
I agree with you, but then the other side of the coin, these guys are professional athletes, so they should be willing to or able to play in the weather. But just think about it, we can play Ulster on the wet field and beat them there. How much that will help our morale and our games forward.
Yeah, absolutely. If anything, my hope is that this motivates the guys more, because, as you said, if we can beat them in these sorts of conditions, where it's properly in their backyard, that will be such a boost to the team. It really will be.
100%. The thing is that irrespective of the weather, as I said in my voice note, irrespective of the weather, the guys are there to perform and to do a job. Moyo and Kobus, if we can beat Ulster in the wet, in the backyard, it will be a huge confidence boost for the guys. The thing is, take it week by week. Don't plan 6 weeks ahead or 4 weeks ahead or 3 weeks ahead. Take it game by game and deliver your best at all times. That's all that is expected of you, or should I say, of the players, to do their best at all times. It's as simple as that.
Met die Bulls soos hulle so ver gespeel het, kan ek nie dink Edinburgh gaan genoeg antwoorde hê vir al hulle vrae nie. En die Sharks, ek dink hulle gaan seker maar regtig, hulle gaan die ene gaan hulle verloor teen Konak. By ons game, ek glo ons kan Ulster slaan. Ons kan. Ons moet net. As ons dit kan doen, en ons kom uit daai game uit met 'n wen, dan gaan ons nou regtig bietjie sielkundig in die regte plek begin kom. Dan gaan hy veggees weer bietjie terugkom. Want ons sien glimpses van dit. Einde van daai game, wat was dit, iets in die 40 fases. Toe wou ons nou die game wen. Dis dit te laat. Jy sien sulke glimpses van dit. As ons net vir 80 minute daai begeerte kan sien, En al jy dit gaan regkry is jy moet gewoond raak aan 'n wenkultuur. En hoe meer jy gaan wen en teen wie jy gaan wen, gaan jou meer confidence gee. So om Ulster daar pak slaag te gee, dink ek, dis al vir ons vir die seisoen een massive boost wees.
I agree with you, Niels. I feel like this is a game we can win, like much as it'll be challenging. And for me, I feel like it's a must win because the benefits of that win will be massive. And as you've said, we've seen glimpses of what we can do. I want the whole picture now. You know, it's like when a movie is about to come out and they will have like teaser trailers where it's just a few seconds. We've seen that. I want the whole movie now. I really, really do.
Yeah, concerning the other teams, I really don't know what to say much about that. To be honest, I'm much more concerned about our team. And I also agree with Muyu that it will be a massive boost for us if we can win Ulster. It will make it different. It's a win that's going to count more than just a win, definitely. Agree with that 100%.
Ek gaan ook maar eers afsluit vanaand. Ons is sonder krag en my foon is besig om pap te hardloop. Dis weer beerkrag hier by ons. So ja, sterkte vir ons leeu, sterkte vir julle Vrydagmôre en dan praat ons weer die naweek rugby.
Yeah, no, definitely lots to be proud of this week, and really hoping for a very, very solid game over the weekend. But so far it's been encouraging, and that's the key thing. And as always, the chat has been awesome.
Ja, dankie manne vir die saamgesels. Dit was weer baie lekker. Ek gaan ook eers nag sê, ja, ek glo ons leeu's, ek dink ons te kans om te wen, definitief. En mag ons 'n skitterende wen aftrek wat awesome gaan wees. En julle moet almal 'n geseënde dag, nag en naweek verder hê. Ons praat weer. Mooi bly.
Nag Kobus en baie dankie vir jou bydrae vanaand. Waardeer dit en ja, Niels, om terug te keer na jou toe. Dis wat ek gesê het, jy weet, dit gaan 'n harde voorspeler game wees en ja, ons kan dit doen. So jy sê, maar ons moet 101% gee teen alle tye. Ons moet net pas op aan die scrums, weet dat die ouens nie geblaas word vir die scrum wat val of selfs by losgemaal, jy weet dat hulle die mol laat val nie, daai tipe van ding. Die ouens moet baie bedag wees daarop. So ja, dit gaan 'n baie moeilike game wees vir die voorspelers en op ons vir Ulster 80 minute kan boelie en so die Engels sal sê force them into submission. Dit gaan baie ver. Dit gaan baie van die manne verwag. Dit gaan 'n groot game wees vir hulle. Daar gaan baie van hulle verwag word. Ek is opgewas vir die taak. Ek glo so. Maar so ek sê dit hang af by die ouens se mindset as hulle Saterdag op die veld gaan draf. En weet ek weet nog nie hoe die weer was die hele week nie. Ek dink ek gaan probeer om terug te gaan om te kyk wat die weer was die afgelope week. Maar ek glo ja, ons is professionele rugby spelers. Hulle moet in alle omstandighede kan speel. Soos ek vroeër gesê het, of dit nou reën, sneeu, sonskyn of weer stormwind is. Jy moet aanpas by omstandighede. Ek gaan ook nou afsluit en bietjie deur die stort gaan spring en ons 'n bietjie skyn lê. Dit was nogal 'n warm, harde dag vandag. Nie dat ek enigstens deelgeneem het op enige sport gedoen het nie, maar dit was 'n bietjie stresvol. Ek weet 'n bietjie die oppositie op my kompetisie. Weet so 'n bietjie deur gekyk en die manne lyk goed. En ja, so ek sê so 'n bietjie oor Saterdag, maar wie die een voordeel is vir hulle, dat hulle is vandag begin deelneem aan die gewigwyfkamp. So die manne gaan warm wees Saterdag. Hulle gaan opwarm wees op, hulle gaan moeg wees een van die twee. Ek meen van my kompetisie, die type van die ouens, sulke met beserings, een is 'n knie, lyk soos 'n ballon. So ja, maar nie dat ek enigstens hulle enige slegte voorspoed toewens nie. Ons is almal 'n klomp maats, ons gesels lekker, ondersteun mekaar en op die dag die persoon wat die verste gewigstoot en die verste diskus kan slinger, is die persoon wat die beste van sy omstandighede maak weer eens. Die temperatuur vir Saterdag voorspel vir Pretoria 36 grade en my eerste item is 1:30 die middag en my laaste item is 3:30 die middag. So ja, dit is op die hitte van die dag, maar nou ja, ons moet maar aanpas, ons het so ver gekom, so ons moet maar deurdruk. Sien nou aan vir almal, lekker slaap.
Dankie julle, dankie vir julle moeite, dankie vir julle tyd. Ek vanaand het weer baie geleer, baie by julle geleer. Maar soos altyd, sien uit na die volgende keer, om nog 'n bietjie meer te leer en nog 'n bietjie meer te leer. Oom Eugene, jy sal vir my daai foto's deurstuur, né? En dan ook, as ons weer praat, dan kan jy vir ons sê hoe dit gegaan het by die meesters. Ons hou vir jou duim vas en tone. En hou ons naam hoog daar, né? Maar no pressure, gaan geniet dit om al die medaljes te dra. Lekker slaap julle, Brul Bêk groete.